right here. It is still Flow 94.9 FM. Welcome to the platform. It is the pinnacle of all discussions. We take a look at critical issues as it affects our dear nation Nigeria, and also as it affects our dear state Abia State. Welcome once again. It is the third official work day of the week. And of course, the program comes up on radio every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday on Flow 94.9 FM. My name is Michael Oni. This morning, we're taking a look at the position of the northern governors on some issues aftermath of the Ndsars protest. They came out, they had a meeting led by the Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, and they came out and said the protest, had some on-background persons that fund the protest. It was about separatist movement, it was about overrunning government, and they spoke on several issues. And they came out and they agreed on some issues, which we will be looking at this morning. They agreed on the censorship of social media. They agreed on, they declared support for the government, the federal government, Buhari-led administration, and also some other issues. So that will be the basis of our discussion this morning, as we are still following the United States election. The outcome of the U.S. presidential election is on a nerve edge, with Donald Trump and his rival Joe Biden neck and neck in key swing states. Now, Mr. Trump, the incumbent president, a Republican, as you know, claims to have won and vowed to launch a Supreme Court challenge, baselessly alleging fraud. Earlier, Mr. Biden also spoke in a televised broadcast. A Democrat said he was on track to victory. Millions of votes remain uncounted, and no candidate can credibly claim victory as yet. There is, according to some reports, that there is no evidence of fraud. More than 100 million people cast their ballots in early voting before the election on yesterday, setting U.S. on course for its highest turnout in century. We're also going to let you into that this morning on the program, the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. So, welcome on board. All right, you heard from the reserve of the northern leaders, comprising of the 19 governors from the northern part of the country, and also traditional rulers, including some stakeholders. You heard the voice of Ahmed Lawan, the Senate president there, and also some other stakeholders. So that will be our discussion this morning, the opposition to the Ndsars protest, because they claim that the notorious police unit has been useful in the fight against insecurity in the northern part of the country. You heard from Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, who is the chairman of the forum there, and saying that not all SARS officers are rogues, as the unit also has some good personnel. And he also said that some persons with political undertone used the Ndsars protest to cause anarchy, chaos, calling for some separatist secessioning, and also some other called for anarchy, chaos in the country. Anyways, let's go straight to the conversation this morning. I do have my resource persons waiting on the virtual platform, just as okay, the connection established already. So welcome on board. I have Kingsley Megara joining me. Of course, Kingsley will also help us find meanings to some of the issues coming from the United States election. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm fine. You're welcome to the program. You're a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party also in Abia State. You're welcome. Barrister Yusuf Abdusalam, public affairs analyst all the way from Kano. He once participated on this program. I can remember very well. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning to you and good morning to everybody there.
You're welcome, Barrister, to the program. Just before we go straight to the discussion of the day, I want Kingsley Magwara to help us find meaning, of course, to some of the issues coming from the United States election. Kingsley, you've lived in the United States for over 28 years, if I'm correct. Now, I don't know what you make of what is happening presently. Of course, the outcome of that election, as we're waiting for official results from the electoral umpire.
Well, quite frankly, the election is a shocker to most pollsters, and it's a shocker to some of us because we have thought that because of the depth of what we think this current president has done, that for some reason that the electorate would be aware of and sensitive to some of those unpresidential, if I will use that word. But the American people have spoken, even though it's still too early to call some of these states, particularly states like Georgia, states like Arizona, even Pennsylvania and Michigan, and so on. So I will be cautiously waiting to see what most of the absentee ballots are saying in those predominantly democratic sections of the country.
There is still no answer to the question of who will become the next United States president. We might not know that for days, but it looks like the most likely scenario as this battle is going to shift to the postal states that are yet to be counted in places like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. What is your take on that?
Well, like I said, in most of these areas, let's go back to Georgia. Georgia is an interesting state for me because if you look at areas like Fulton County, which houses the city of Atlanta, which is predominantly black, I'm waiting to see what the absentee ballot from those areas will be, including the Cobb County, including Cobb County. Those are predominantly strongholds of the Democrats. So I am very suspicious of the results coming out from Georgia, and Pennsylvania is the same thing, and so on. So for me, as somebody who lived there for 28 years, the results of the election is a shocker because, like the pollsters, we thought that the Democrats have a real good shot at replacing Donald Trump. It doesn't seem that way right now, but it's not over.
So surprisingly, Donald Trump has threatened to mount challenges in the Supreme Court. This means it could potentially take weeks, and it's un-American when before the final result announced and the president incumbent coming out to say, well, I'm going to contest the outcome of this election in the court of law.
Indeed, it's very, very un-American and it's very unpresidential. I watched the election of Al Gore and George Bush. Even when Florida was still in contention, the presidential candidates at that time, Al Gore and George Bush, were very reserved with their comments. But Donald Trump will always be Donald Trump. A friend of mine told me that Donald Trump should have been a regular Nigerian politician. And I don't know if that's a compliment. But every American president, since I have watched, have been very reserved in their comments because your comments matter. Your comments can incite the country. And at a time when the country is very vulnerable, everything we wanted from Donald Trump is that healing balm to say, we're waiting for the election results. We think we are making progress, but I want to urge the entire country to remain calm and vigilant, and we'll see where it goes. But for him to unilaterally call the elections before the Secretary of State of each of those states will hand in their papers is very wrong, in my opinion.
All right, Barrister Yusuf, before we go straight to the call by the northern governors in Nigeria, I would like to get your view on the United States election also, the lessons for Africa and Nigeria.
Well, I think, like the previous speaker said, we are still waiting. Nobody knows as it is now who the next president will be. My only different opinion is that what is unexpected in this election this time is that Donald Trump is even doing as good as he is doing now. Pollsters and opinion polls tended to suggest that he was going to lose outrightly. So that he's doing this good, that has been going neck to neck until recently, is the unexpected part of the election. I think Nigeria will learn one or two things, or if I may say, this time around, because of what we witnessed as far as violence in some aspects, in some areas of the U.S., and the attitude of the president, like the previous speaker said, which is un-American and is more Nigerian. So we tend to look at it from the other side, that the tide is turning. They are trying to copy what we don't like from from us. So, but what I think Nigeria should learn is that at least the electoral umpire, everybody tend to believe that the electoral umpire is an uninterested party in this. I think our own should at least try to project that perspective too. Thank you.
All right, now let's go straight to the discussion for today right here on the platform on Flow 94.9 FM. 19 northern governors, traditional rulers, legislators, and other stakeholders held an urgent meeting in Kaduna to discuss the recent Ndsars protest and insecurity in Nigeria. And the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, the Federal Capital Territory, Musa Bello, I'm talking about the Minister, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, attended the meeting. Their position was delivered by Simon Lalong, the Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, the Governor of Plateau State. They condemned the Ndsars protest, saying the meeting rejects and condemns the subversive actions. It also noted that agitators and other change regime agents outside the ballot box took advantage of the peaceful protest to push for their separate agenda. Now, I want us to look at that statement coming from northern governors. Now, at this point in time, it's a very controversial issue. I would like to start with you, Barrister Yusuf Abdulsalami. The body language of the northerners, especially in Kano. We had massive protests in the southern part of the country, Lagos, coming down to the southeast, and also parts of the southwest. I don't know if you can let us into what happened at the northern part of the country. Is it that the youths didn't come out now that led to the position of the northern governors?
Okay, I think the governors are holding their own personal view of the whole scenario. And their position, I must tell you, does not represent the position of the general populace, even in the north here. Now, let me give you an example. That in Kano, at the height of the protests in Lagos and the other parts of the southern part of the country, there were protesters who came out to equally protest in Kano. Yes, exactly. But the government found its way of stopping that. First, by interrupting the protest, by organizing a counter protest. It turned out to be violent at the end of the day, anyway. And the police came and claimed that because of the violence, they had to stop it. That is one. Two, in an area we call Sabongeri, which is predominantly habited by people who are not local here, people still came out to do what you may call peaceful protest, chanting, shouting, and doing all this. Again, 2 truckloads of thugs descended on them. And there was a very high possibility, a suspicion, that these thugs did not just appear from the sky. They were sent by people high in government. So this is to tell you that people actually wanted to protest here. Okay. And that the government was the one that doesn't want it, for whatever reason. But one of the reasons may be that they think, because of bad governance, if this precedent of protest is laid in the north, which is a bit unusual here, the moment you allow people to have this mindset in this place, then they may begin to use that same kind of protest to demand for better governance. I think that is generally their fear.
Interesting. Mr. Kingsley Megwara, let's look at the body language of the northern governors now. What do you make of that body language at the point in time that the youths are saying that they can no longer continue with bad governance in Nigeria, channeling that point through the Ndsars protest?
Well, first of all, I agree completely with my brother on the other line. And I also want to sound this note of caution to all of us politicians. You can't stop a good movement. The central reason why those young men and women came out is to say we do not like the actions of the police. We want to stop police brutality across Nigeria, not in the east, not in Yoruba land, not anywhere. So let's not miss that point. And any movement that is positive, that is in the interest of the generality of the people, such movements cannot be suffocated. I just pray that we don't have a repeat of those agitations by the youth, the legitimate agitations of these young men and women, which was hijacked from hoodlums, And I pray to God that some of us who are politicians are not part of the hijack, are not part of the infiltration into what is supposed to be a legitimate concern by our citizens. So the northern governors at this time, I'm kind of worried. When I think that the northern governors should be having a meeting and saying that the whole section, the whole northern part of our great country is being ravaged by the activities of Boko Haram. What are we going to do? Because our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers are being killed every day. Those are the concerns for me as a Nigerian. I've always believed in one Nigeria. I've always believed that we can draw the strength from the north down to the south. The northern governors, in my opinion, should be sitting in a round table and saying, this thing has gone on too long. How do we stop the killing of our people? Those are the more important things. When one person is killed in the north, all of us are being killed. That's how I feel. Those brothers and sisters in Maiduguri and Borno and the rest of them that are being murdered on a daily basis, they are our brothers too. They are Nigerians, and it should be of concern to us. So when the northern governors meet together, I want them to look at themselves and say, guys, what are we going to do to stop this? Because our brothers and sisters are being killed in large numbers. I mean northerners.
Okay.
Killing northerners. And nobody is saying anything about it. It's very wrong.
Barrister Yusuf, you've been in the northern part of the country for years now, and you're based in Kano. Perhaps this is the way the northern governors are saying that these guys are supporting bringing sanity to the northern part of the country. I'm talking about Ndsars now, because it seems their body language does not support the ending of the that police units. So I want you to let us into how well has the Ndsars been providing security in the northern region in the midst of virtual bloodbath by Boko Haram and bandits and some other insecurity issues that we have in the northern part of the country.
Yes, thank you. You see, there's a problem in the way the governors here are thinking. You see, by mid-October, even after the federal government has disbanded SARS, these governors came up to say they are opposed to the disbandment of SARS, trying to tell the federal government that it was wrong. So I don't know what they wanted, whether they wanted the federal government to now reinstate the SARS, I don't know. But let us look at the situation. SARS is a special unit of the Nigerian police. It was supposed to be combating robbery and offenses similar to that. But the north, that is the mainstay of these governors, is where you see kidnappers operating freely. You see bandits coming in openly. They don't even sneak in. You see 50, 100 of them on motorbikes, ravaging a community, killing everybody and going away scot-free. This is where you see you cannot move from Kano to Abuja, between Abuja and Lokoja freely without witnessing cases of armed robbery. So the question is simple. If SARS is doing as well as the governors are trying to claim, how well? That is the question we need to ask them now. How well have they been able to combat these incidences of kidnapping, incidences of cattle rustling, incidences of armed robbery, incidences of banditry? So by the time you now put their claim alongside what is happening in the north, then you discover that they are saying something outside the reality. So the meeting of Monday will now tend to give you a little hint of their mindset, which is mostly political. What they are saying is they don't want anything that has to do, that tend to suggest a regime change. That regime change, if you mind that word, that is the basic concern of these governors. So they want to show the federal government that anybody who is trying to suggest agitating very seriously for the so-called restructuring, for the change of regime, they don't support that, and so they are supporting the federal. But the question is, all these Ndsars protests, at what point did the Ndsars protests talk about regime change? Who brings in this issue of regime change? Yeah, as far as I know, it is not the Ndsars protesters.
Interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, just quickly wrap up your thoughts. We need to go for a break now.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
So the point is, the North is not doing the South is not doing as well as the governors of the North are trying to say in the North.
All right.
They are wrong.
All right, Barrister Yusuf Abdul Salami and Mr. Kingsley Megwara, we will get back to you, especially the fact that they also called for censorship of the social media. That will form the last round of our discussion this morning before we throw the lines open. We'll go for a break now. It is still this platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
It is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of God's Own State, Wednesday edition. And of course, we've been speaking with Kingsley Megwara and the Barrister Yusuf Abdusalami from Kano. And that's, the conversation has been on the position of the northern governors, the stakeholders from the northern part of the country. 19 northern governors met, and they made their position known concerning the Ndsars protest, and they came out with some resolutions. We've been looking at those resolutions, and of course, and now let's look at the censorship of social media. The northern governors, under the aegis of the Nigerian northern governors, called for the censorship of the social media. The governors said the social media have a devastating effect after their meeting on Monday, and they also vowed to keep Nigeria one, declaring the unity of the country was non-negotiable. Well, the governors said that, social media should be censored. The meeting took note of the devastating effect. I'm reading from the communique now. And the meeting took note of the devastating effect of the uncontrolled social media and spreading fake news. Therefore, calls for major control mechanism and censorship of social media practice in Nigeria. This is coming at a time that that particular call by the federal government has come with a whole lot of backlash, especially those backlash at Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Culture. Many are saying, well, the present administration came on board through social media. Why clamping down on social media at this point in time? Mr. Kingsley Megwara, what do you make of that, the position of the northern governors?
Well, the most important thing I can get from their meeting is the fact that they have all pledged that this country needs to stay together. And that's where I am. Because like I said earlier, we need one another. And so to come around to say the censorship of the social media is here to stay. And I don't think anybody is going to do a lot on it. I am very against people who are using social media frivolously. But I know if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't know what happened at the Lakey toll gate. If it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't know what happened.
Yes.
But I think people should be very measured in their utterances and how they carry through.
All right, Barrister Yusuf Abdusalami, what do you make of the position of the northern governors concerning the censorship of social media?
Yes, you see, censorship itself is a draconian term, but regulation could be acceptable because I see it as a socio-political requirement to make things go the way they should go. The social media, like the former speaker, like my brother has said, has come to stay. You yourself, the government itself, has used it to its own advantage at one point in time.
All right, we've got issues concerning the connection there. We will get back to the gentleman before we wrap up the program this morning. But let's throw the phone lines as we're waiting for that connection to be worked on. 0808-182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. You can also drop messages on 0906-510-8289. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Okay, it seems we have a barrister back.
Yes.
Hello. Yes, barrister.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I was saying before the breakup,
Yes.
Regulation control is okay. Nothing that you do in this life that doesn't require to be controlled. Even the food we eat. If you enjoy yourself so much, you may end up being victim of what you even consume. So if you want to regulate, but the question will now be, who does the regulation? For what purpose? At what rate? The government in the present government itself will not be the one that will supervise or determine what is to be regulated, what is to be done, and what not to be done. There is supposed to be a body independently put together to look at the way the social media could be at least regulated, so that everything that goes in and come out of it will be something that everybody can trust as a trustworthy medium of information dissemination, entertainment, and what have you.
All right.
So I don't see problem with regulation, but censorship, the word censorship itself is very, very problematic. It is what we were thinking we have forgotten, we have surpassed since the military regime. You shouldn't censor any information dissemination from whatever quarter, social media or even the regular media.
All right.
That's my take.
All right, Barrister Yusuf Abdusalamid, thank you very much for being part of the program this morning. A public affairs analyst all the way from Kano. We do appreciate your contribution on the program.
You are highly welcome.
Thank you very much. And many thanks to Mr. Kingsley Megwara also. We couldn't get him back on the connection after we lost the initial connection on the program. But let's throw the lines open. 0808-182-6949, 0811-605-2949. Flow 94.9 FM. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
This is Don Casey guy for real.
All
Calling
right.
from Doro from Iguano.
All right, Don Casey.
Yeah, Mr. Miles, I still want to believe that they are not come out to tell us exactly what the discuss and their meeting with their name, the national governance. The true outcome of that meeting have not come out. It's good that they at least arrange themselves, assemble together to have that meeting. Then have you asked this question? How many times have they now gathered, assembled, to discuss about their people, their brothers in this party? Now it's troubling our cause, stimulating our people, helping our women. All these things is what they have to at least. Then another one is this. I've been asking myself, if these governors now can come together to talk about to desire to have unity, to maintain the unity of this country, have they been able to go to Mr. President? Mr. President, this slaughtering of people, these killings, these protesters now they have killed their people, these people that have lost their life or during this protesting. How do you have any arrangement for them? That is the issue we are having. They are going to go ahead to tell us that the decision of this social media is not good. That the government should not maintain it is good and to restrict it. So what I'm not trying to say in effect, this issue of Northerners, they are trying to let us know that their desire and their targeting is to make sure use the staff to deal with our people, because our people people who are productively.
That's not allowed. That's a clannish statement. All right, we should be very careful with our statement also to make our contribution. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
I remember Mr. Princewell struggle from here in Omonachobo.
All right, Mr. Princewell.
Michael, I think let me go straight to America first. America, I'm ardent supporter of Trump and his government. But what he's trying to do now is un-American. if that election has not concluded, let him allow the election umpire, or let him allow the result to come in fully. He has every right to go to Supreme Court, but first of all, let him allow the entire result to come in. Then on the Northern Governor's decision, I'm seeing them as what.
Hello.
So, hi, can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can hear you.
I said that in 1956, when we ought to have our independence, when an emotion was moved by Anthony Nahara, look at the North. They said no, they are not mature. Now, when we want to restructure Nigeria now, by making sure that the brutality by the police is stopped, they said no, they don't support it. And I'm not blaming them. That is part of them, because all paraphernalia of government is with them. All positions, all appointments is in the North. What stops them from not supporting his brothers? So to me, I'm not seeing that as new to me. Then finally, on the censorship, it is quite undemocratic, because social media has been there, and it is part and parcel of democracy.
All right.
And we had already. All right.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Hello. Good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning, Mike.
You're welcome.
I'm Alvan. I'm calling you from them.
All right, Mr. Alvan. Welcome.
Yeah. Honestly, I am disappointed with the President of America. On his comments. This is the first time we are getting this from a sitting president in decades. I am not just happy. Let him allow the whole process to be concluded. For him making such statements, honestly, it's quite disappointing. On the Northern Elders, whatever they are meeting or whatever they are talking, I would have loved them to advise the president, if they are really talking about unity and moving this country forward, which all of us are yearning for. They should advise him to carry all the part of the country along. In a situation, you make lopsided appointments, you deprive the part of the country, you don't share the resources equitably. How would how would we have peace? Even this Eli Mohammed that is talking about social media, the Senate, they are putting him on, you are using how many millions to travel, on travel alone. Such things, are they not what that we are using as activate speech, something you benefited from? You are now talking about how to, put some restriction. I don't think it's good. I believe with what the barrister said. I guess they did very well. I believe in what they said. It's not even these people, because we don't even trust them. Because you just want to do whatever you do in secret. When Lekki shooting happened, you are arguing, you are defending yourself. So let them just concentrate on the major issues and allow these social media be. Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, thank you. Mr. Alex Promundume says, Mike, I worry that Nigeria has condescended into ethnic disposition where northern governors cantabalize and ethnicize national issues. Protests are legitimate under international law. We can no longer work together in fanaticism. All right. It is insensitive for dictatorship to disguise as democracy. Mr. Alex Romundume. All right. Thank you, Mr. Alex. Report just coming in says the International Criminal Court, ICC, has confirmed that it is conducting a preliminary examination into the recent Ndsars protest in Nigeria. According to a statement from made by the Office of the ICC prosecutor, that statement says it had received information on the alleged crimes. The examination will assess whether the legal criteria for opening an investigation under the Rome statutes are met. Right group Amnesty International says security forces opened fire on protesters, killing and injuring a number of people. Both the police and the army have rejected Amnesty's allegations. If you've been following the stories, and the ICC said it would make findings of the preliminary examination public. So that is just coming in, just to let you know that about the ICC's confirmation. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the platform.
What's my name?
All right.
I want to react to the Northern Governor's statement.
Yes, please go on.
On the social media. Politically general. Let me just tell you, maybe let's just go back to this. So we are talking of this nationalism. They're not. They were killing people in Ghana. Because when people say, for state government, there was a negative reaction. They killed many people in Ghana. But today they are the major beneficiaries of that independence. When Abacha was in power, the only northern was Atiku and Rimi and Yaradua, that we are championing that the army must go back to barracks because they have a political, presidential ambition. Buhari was busy serving as a PDF, as the chairman of PDF. But today, he's the major beneficiary of that to go back to barracks. Let me tell you, they don't like change. As far as they are the ones benefiting, they go to their state. The majority of the indigenous are suffering only because of those who are holding political positions. But that will not keep Nigeria backward. If we want to move forward, I want to bring it back to the southeast. You think they have the north, we are united, irrespective of political party. The if it is here, Gobu will be separate. Anamba will be separate. You see, all of them will be talking a different thing.
All right, quickly wrap up the thoughts, please.
They'll be talking a different thing. But they have one common thing, to retain the position in the center. That is their position, no matter the party where you are. You can remember during Jonathan, this at Bamboa, who was the secretary, who was the speaker, he had a meeting on Sunday because they want Jonathan to. But I don't know what they can teach our the southeast and south. Let them, so that when we have a common goal, we move together.
All right, thank you.
What am I trying to say?
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much for your contribution. Your time is up. We do appreciate your contribution. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mike Oni.
You're welcome.
Your program is a wonderful one.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank your Flu FM for the type of highlights and the type of exposure you give us.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate
now,
you're yet to tell us your name.
I am Henry Enyoko.
All right, Mr. Henry.
I'm calling from Umuogelentega in Isialangwa North. Let me tell us what is true. The events already taking place in this country. Let people go back to history. You will discover that what is happening already, or what has things that have happened already, or things that are already happening, have superseded what happened in the 50s, that in 1960 something events that preceded the Nigeria, the Civil War. Let us start to pray to God. In fact, when I say let us say our last prayers, I am not asking that we say our last prayers because we will die. No, but let us say our last prayers to God to rescue this country, because we are already in magnum periculum. We are in great danger. I want to tell you that this country is on a very fragile unity. This country is in a very big mess. Look at the segregation between the northern governors and look at the level of insecurity. Look at everything that is going on here. Mike Oni, I don't know if these people hear what we say at all. In fact, I'm calling on this country, let people come out, and not a question of riot. How can this country conduct a massive prayer days?
Mr. Henry, quickly wrap up your thoughts now.
What I'm saying is that let us be very conscious. These northern governors, let them be very conscious of treading on the fragile piece of this country.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Our time is fast spent and need to step out of the studio already. Well, just to bring you up to speed on what is happening in the United States now, the race is boiling down to just a handful of states: Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Well, there are more than 1.4 million votes by mail ballots left to count in Pennsylvania, and it could take days to tabulate them all. The big cities in Michigan, Detroit, and Wisconsin, Milwaukee, also yet to fully report, and they might heavily tilt towards Democrats. Meanwhile, Georgia is a wild card, but keep the dial locked right here on Flow 94.9 FM as we bring you up to speed on what is happening concerning the election in the United States. Many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze. I do appreciate your contributions. The program returns on Friday, which will be the last edition for the week. My name is Michael Oni.